Hey everybody, it's Yummy Monday again. Now today is the last day in our Thanksgiving meal series, and that's because Thanksgiving is Thursday. So today we're making our main course, and we're making some rolls, and we're making a dessert, so it's going to be a busy day. So the first thing we need to do, now it's early in the morning, you need to get this part started early in the morning because you want it to cook all day, like 7 hours. So today, you might remember from a couple weeks ago, I said that Taste Tester doesn't really like turkey, and that's true. So for Thanksgiving, we're not having turkey, we are having Cornish game hens. Now, some of you have probably seen these before. They look like little turkeys, but they're actually chickens, and you buy them at the grocery store in the freezer section. And they're not baby chickens, they're actually chickens that are just tiny. That's just how they are naturally, that's how they were made. So what we're going to do is unwrap our chicken, and you can see that it looks like a little turkey, but it's a chicken. So we're going to put this in the crock pot, and I've already got one in there. And if you'll be able to see it, you can look at that while I go wash my hands to get this chicken off of me. Okay, clean hands. That's very important. Anytime you handle meat, you always have to wash your hands because you can get lots of germs, especially if you're going to do some other preparation too. So, clean hands. Okay, so the rest of our ingredients we need are some Italian dressing, chicken broth. I've got a 1/4 cup of water. And then we have the special seasoning packet, and I just bought this at the grocery store. I will list the actual seasoning amounts in case you don't want to buy the seasoning packet. You want to just use the actual spices you already have on hand. I already have these on hand, but I wasn't sure exactly which ones. I knew I was missing one, so I just bought this at the store just so I'd be prepared. So what we're going to do is, this is kind of a neat method that I like to do for mixing marinades or sauces. And in this case, this is what we're going to pour over our Cornish hens while they cook in the crock pot. So what you want to do is take any kind of container about this size. I'm just using a leftover one that I had, and you need to take a plastic bag, one that zips closed at the top. And you're going to just stuff it down inside the container and then wrap your edges around. Now this is really helpful because what we're going to do is pour all of our ingredients into here, and then we're going to zip the bag up and mix it up, and we won't have any mess because the bag is already tucked inside. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is pour our water into the bag. There we go. And then we're going to open up our seasoning packet. Now they come individually wrapped, so this might be something that each member of your family, if you decide to make this, their job could be opening one of the seasoning packets. So we're going to open them. You just tear at the edge and then drop the seasoning right in. And we're going to do all of these because all of these spices together, when they're blended, give us a wonderful taste for our Cornish chickens. And it looks pretty too. Okay, almost there. Just 2 more. And then next we're going to add a 1/4 cup, no I'm sorry, it's not a 1/4 cup, it's a whole can of chicken broth, but we are going to add a 1/4 cup of Italian dressing. Okay, so we've got all those taken care of. So now it's time, when you use Italian dressing, you always want to shake it up a little bit first because all these different seasonings inside, they like to settle to the bottom. So when you mix it up, that gets everything ready to go and tastes good all together. So we're going to do a 1/4 cup. Right there. We're going to pour that into our bag mixture. And then before we add the chicken broth, we're going to give this a quick stir. Now you can use a little spoon, or if you have one of these cool little mini whisks, you can use that. And you're going to just mix it just enough to get some of the spices mixed around. Okay. That looks good. Alright, now we're going to add our chicken broth. Well, my can opener doesn't want to cooperate. Maybe taste tester needs to buy me a can opener for Christmas. That's a romantic gift, isn't it? Okay. Now for this part, we're gonna hold our, bring our bag up a little bit and just dump our chicken broth right in. And we're gonna zip it before you take it out of the bag. You wanna zip it. Make sure it's all the way closed. And here's our mixture, and now we're gonna just mix it around a little bit. Now this is what you have to be sure it's zipped all the way, because part of it is turning it over to get it mixed. You don't want to have any leaks. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now what we're going to do, we've got our chickens ready to go in our crock pot, and we're going to just pour our mixture right over the chickens. So open your bag and just pour it in. You might need to kind of scoot some of your seasonings out. Some of them get stuck in the bag. There we go. Get all this yummy goodness out. Okay. Alright, so that's all you need to do. Actually, we might add a little bit more water because you want your chicken to be covered. So I'm going to get just a little bit more water and dump it in. Hold on just a second. Actually, maybe we'll put this in our bag to pick up some of our extra seasonings that got stuck last time. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Some of our seasonings are still stuck, but that's okay. We got a lot in there. Okay, so now we're going to just put the lid on our little chickens. So this is the last time you'll see the little chickens this way. Next time they'll be cooked and ready to eat in 7 hours. Okay, so our Cornish game hens are nicely cooking. We're about 2 hours from dinner right now, so this is the perfect time to start this recipe. So these are going to be rolls. Now these are rolls that my grandma, some of you remember my grandma, she lived on a farm. These are rolls that she used to make for holidays, and they are delicious. So we're going to make them today for our Thanksgiving dinner. So here are our supplies. We need 2 eggs. We need sugar, flour, some melted butter, some salt, 2 packages of yeast, and we need a cup of milk. Now, the milk is warmed up, lukewarm. So I put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. You don't want it hot, but you don't want it to be cold. So the first thing we're going to do is take our sugar, and we're going to put 1/2 cup of sugar. And you can do this in a bowl or in a mixing bowl. I'm going to use my mixing bowl. So you just dump it right in there. And we put our salt. And then we put our yeast. We'll dump it right in. Now if you've never used yeast before, yeast is kind of a cool thing. When you put warm liquid with it, that's when it comes alive and does its thing. That's what makes bread really tall and rise. So we're also going to, this is where we're going to put our lukewarm milk. So we're going to just pour that right in. And then we're going to put our stirring paddle on here, because we want this just to get mixed up just a little bit. So we're going to mix this up, and then as soon as this is mixed, we're going to come back and put the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so our first set of ingredients is all mixed together, so it's time to add the next thing. So now we're going to add our 2 eggs. We're just going to add them right to the mixture that we already have here. There's 1 and 2. Uh-oh. We don't want eggshell in our rolls. That would be gross. G-R-O-S-S. Okay, and now we're going to add our melted butter. We'll just pour that right in. And now we're going to add our flour. And we're going to add about 4.5 cups, between 4.5 and 5. You'll have to just look and see how your dough looks and use your judgment if it looks about the right consistency. Let's stick with 4½ cups. That's what I think we're gonna do. It's just 4½ cups. So there's 1, 2. Now you have to remember that when you start your mixer up, you'll have to start slowly because there's 3. Because when you use flour, sometimes it likes to splatter all over the place. We don't want a big floury mess. There's 4, and now we'll do our 1/2 cup. Okay, and now you might notice that I have a different kind of mixing paddle. This is called a dough hook, and this is really helpful when you're making breads and pizza dough. It takes the step of kneading away from needing to do that with your hands. Ha! Get it? Kneading from do that. What kneading is when you have a ball of dough and you take your hands and you just kind of push it like this, and then you roll it over on itself and roll it up in the side and then push it some more. That's what kneading is. This is going to do that step for us. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on slowly. And now we can speed it up. We're going to let this knead for just a minute, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what we do next. We need to let our dough rest for a while, and I'll explain what that means when we come back. Okay, so our dough is nicely kneaded. Now you'll be able to see, maybe, I don't know if you'll be able to see or not, how it's formed into a nice dough. So I'm going to turn our mixer off, and what we're going to do now is just let this sit. See how it pulls off the dough hook? That's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the sink, and what we're going to do now to let this rise, we're going to let it rise for an hour. And how to do that is you just take a clean towel and just put it over the top, and you just leave it on the counter. And in 1 hour we'll come back and check it, and it will be expanded and all puffy, and then we're going to do a little bit of punching and let it rise some more, and then we're going to bake it. So in the meantime, I'm going to go clean up our dough hook. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half, and well, it's been about an hour actually. Now we're ready to punch down our bread. Now this is the only time it's okay to punch, and you want to punch hard. So this is what our dough looks like now, and you can see that it's risen quite a bit. It's to about right here on the pan, and it was about down here when we got started, so it's about doubled in size. So what we're going to do now is just make some fists and just punch it down. Now again, remember, you've got to have clean hands before you go punching the bread. And all this is doing is just making it go back down, and it'll rise up again. And then we'll be ready to make our little rolls. That looks good. So we're going to cover it back up and set it over here for about 30 minutes, and then we'll be back and finish them off. Okay, our dough is ready. Now this is a fun part. This is a part that anyone who has clean hands can help with this part, and I have clean hands, which is a good thing because there's nobody else to help me. Okay, so what you're going to do is take your dough and you're going to just pinch off a little bit, and you're going to make a little ball. Now you want this ball to be about the size of a super ball, so you can see how big it is. And what we're going to do is take a muffin pan, and we're going to actually put 3 of our little balls into 1 muffin hole. So I've got my oven preheating at 350, so I'm going to fill this tray up, and then we're going to put these in and we're going to bake them. Now the funny thing about this recipe is that there's not really a set time. What you're going to do is just bake them until they look kind of golden brown, and depending on your oven, that is going to be different. So I am going to finish these up. Now I've already got our other sides in the oven. We've got our broccoli pudding and our baked mashed potatoes are warming up. They are going to be delicious. I cannot wait for this Thanksgiving dinner. And our chickens, oh wait, you want to take a peek? They smell really good. You're not really supposed to take the lid off a crock pot while it's cooking, but we're going to peek. Don't they look delicious? Ooh. This is going to be an incredible Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, now that our sides are cooking, our main dish is almost done, it's time for us to make dessert. So, what we're going to make today is a really, really fun recipe. They are, you could call them all sorts of different things. I'm going to call them sweet turkeys, but they're also edible place settings. So what's going to happen is we're going to make these little turkeys that are edible. But you can also, if you want to, put a little toothpick in the top and use them as place settings. So you could have mom, dad, your brother, your sister, grandma, and grandpa. You could put them all around the table. It would be adorable. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need, let's go over all of our supplies first, our ingredients. We need double stuffed Oreos. We're going to use some of our homemade peanut butter cups. We need yellow icing, some chocolate icing. We need some malted milk balls. We need some candy corn. We need some red frosting or gel, and we need mini chocolate chips. So the first thing that we're going to do is take our, we need a sharp knife. Let me grab my sharp knife. Here we go. This is one of the few parts your adult assistant will have to do for you. So first what we're going to do is take our candy corns, and we're going to actually take 5 of them, and you're going to need to ask your adult assistant to cut off the white tip. So we want just the orange and yellow. So we just cut off the white part. We're going to save the white part because we're going to use that later for another part of the turkey. But this part is going to be the turkey feathers. Okay. So what you're going to do is, I'm using this tip, which is, it works okay. If you have a tip, you can use it. Otherwise, just spread it on there with a knife. You're going to take 1 Oreo and put just some frosting on the bottom, or on the back of it, just like that. You're going to just let that sit. Then on the other Oreo, you're going to take it and squirt the frosting into the middle. Oops, my top is coming off here. We'll try it this way. You want to squirt your chocolate frosting right into the groove of your Oreo. Just like that. And you can smooth it out a little if you want to. Oops. Get some orange wanting to come along on this party. Okay, now what you're going to do is take the candy corn that you've cut the white off of, and you're going to just stick it down into this chocolate. And these are going to be the turkey feathers. I'm doing 5. You could do as many as you want. And if you want to put them right next to each other, you can. I'm spreading mine out just a little bit. Let's see, looks like, whoops, we didn't get quite enough over here. We need a little bit more, because you want to be sure you have enough chocolate, because that's what holds the candy corn in place. Okay. So there's that feather. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this cookie that we've put the chocolate frosting on the back. This is kind of like our glue. We're going to take this part with the feathers and stick it right down on it. And we're going to let that sit for just a couple minutes so that the frosting can harden up, and then we'll come back and put the rest of the turkey on. Okay, now we're ready for the rest of our turkey. So what I did was I took one of our homemade peanut butter cups and I cut it in half, and we're going to put just a little bit of the frosting on the bottom. Now one thing I should warn you, your fingers are going to get really, really chocolatey making this recipe. So you're going to just stick it right down on there, right against the cookie. Wipe my hands off here. Okay, then we're going to take one of our malted milk balls, and we're going to dip it in a little bit of chocolate. Put just a little bit on the bottom, just like glue. And we're going to put it right there. Now are you kind of seeing the turkey come to life? Got the turkey head right there, and the turkey feathers. Now our turkey needs a beak. So we're going to take one of our little white candy corns, and again put just a little bit of chocolate on it, just enough to stick it on, and we're going to stick it right on the front. Now sometimes it kind of helps to lay this back for this part. You can lay your turkey down just like that. And then we need to give our turkey some eyes. So we're going to take our yellow frosting, and I usually put a little bit like that and use a toothpick, because otherwise it's really kind of hard. Either get not enough or way too much. So you just take your toothpick. Oh, our beak looks like it's crooked. Let's fix our beak. Okay, and now we'll get just a little bit on toothpick, and we're going to just make little dabs on the turkey. There's one eye. There's another eye. And we're going to stand our turkey back up. And now what we're going to do is take 2 little chocolate chips. The eyes look kind of crazy now. We're going to take these chocolate chips and stick them right on top. Oops. The turkey eye is wanting to stick to my finger. And then we're going to take our red and we're going to make the turkey waddle, which is the thing under its neck, the red thing. So we're going to just take our red and just squirt some underneath the chicken beat, or the chicken. We don't have well, we are having Thanksgiving chicken, but this is a Thanksgiving turkey. So what we want to do now is take this and put it in the fridge because everything needs to kind of harden up a little bit. So I'm going to put this in the fridge, it's going to chill, and then the next time you see us, we're going to be eating Thanksgiving dinner. Everything is going to be ready. My kitchen smells so good, I cannot believe it.
Bring your family and friends. She's a magician in the kitchen. Watch on Mondays and Thursdays. Cooking yummy foods and tasty treats. Give up orders and taste the buds sleep. It's time to eat.